Manalangin po tayo. Dakilang Panginoon Diyos, may-ari ng sanlibutan, pinupuri namin ang iyong pangalan. Kami nagpapasalamat sa panalangin at gabay na ibinigay mo sa amin. Salamat sa panibagong araw na ipinagkaloob mo. Salamat din sa pagkakataon na ibinigay mo upang kami ay muling magtipon para sa panibagong kaalaman. Kami po ay humihiling na nawa po ay gabayan mo po kami sa aming pag-aaral at bigyan mo po kami ng makalangit na kaalaman at lakas upang kami ay matuto. At nawa po ang lahat ng aming matutunan ay magamit namin sa pagtulong sa aming kapwa. Patawarin mo po kami sa aming mga kasalanan at nawa po ang lahat ng aming gagawin ay maging alinsunod sa iyong kautusan. Ang lahat ng ito ay aming sinasamo sa ngalan ng aming Panginoong Hesus. Amen. Magandang araw po sa lahat ng mga kadete nationwide from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, sa lahat po ng mga respectable deans, faculty and staff, criminologists, ng mga academicians, reviewees, review lectures, mga estudyante po natin from first year up to fourth year, sa lahat po ng nakikinig right now, magandang araw po sa inyo and welcome po sa Bicuino. Ang Bicuino po ay isang platform po sa YouTube na nagbibigay po ng libre, comprehensive, at the same time, lahat ng discussions natin, mga kadete ha, align na po ito sa latest table of specification. Okay? Ang subject po for discussion natin today is on human behavior and victimology. Response na po ito sa lahat ng mga nag-request to discuss about this topic. Again, human behavior and victimology po. But before anything else po, before we jump to the discussion proper, bigyan nyo po ako ng konting oras po to promote yung Bicuino review material po natin. Isa po itong libro consisting of 2 chapters. Una po, compilation sa lahat ng mga review materials in all subjects sa criminology. Naka-arrange na po ito, mga kadete ha. Naka-arrange na po ito into different areas para hindi po kayo ma-confuse. So, naka-arrange na po ito systematically. Yan po ang chapter 1. Sa chapter 2 po natin, collection po sa mga previous na questions sa criminologist licensure examination. So, Q&A po yung chapter 2. So, basically, ang chapter 1, tsaka yung chapter 2, review materials, tsaka yung Q&A, nakakompile na po sa isang libro. Mura lang po ito, mga kadete ha. Yung lahat po na nag-purchase sa libro po, maraming salamat po sa inyo. Sa lahat po na hindi pa nakapag-purchase, advice ko po from first year up to fourth year, especially yung nagre-review right now. Kahit first year ka pa lang, mag-order ka na, mag-purchase ka na para at least makapag-advance reading ka na. What we have to remember, mga kadete po, especially yung mga first year pa lang, ang board examination po natin is talagang madugo po yan. Kailanganin po yung advanced reading po natin. So I suggest you avail on the book para at least mataas pa yung oras po natin sa pagre-review. Okay? Sa lahat po ng mga instructors, professors, pati na po yung mga review lectures po natin, pag medyo bitin po tayo sa preparation, bitin tayo sa oras, mga ma'am and mga sir, available po yung PowerPoint presentation po natin, pati na yung PDF copy. Again, PDF copy lang po at saka PowerPoint presentation. Do not ask for the word copy. Yung word copy, yung document na naka-word kasi minsan parang it became the subject for academic dishonesty. Ako yung nagbigay tapos at the end of the day, parang yung binigyan ko naging owner na po. Inedit yung yung material at saka nilagyan ng watermarks and it made appear that the material belongs to him, but in reality sa akin po yan galing. So again, request po natin PDF lang po ha, mga ma'am and mga sir. Pero yung PowerPoint presentation po, editable naman po yan. If you want to add something, pwede din po. Alright? Without further ado, mga kadete, punta po tayo sa definition of terms. 5 terms po ang i-define po natin. Una, Human behavior. Ano ba yung human behavior? Ito po ay isang manner or way in which a human react to his environment. Ibig sabihin, ito po yung reaction po natin o response po natin on a particular situation or event. For example, pag naglalaro ka ngayon ng basketball game and then you were accidentally hit by the elbow of your opponent, tapos nagagalit ka after, ang pagkagalit mo po is your response or your reaction of you being hit accidentally by the elbow. So basically, ang anger na yan is what we call as your behavior, your human behavior. Okay? Pangalawa, tsaka yung pangatlo is criminal tsaka deviant behavior. Ano ba ang pagkakaiba sa dalawa? Napakasimple lang. Ang criminal behavior dapat una intentional. Ibig sabihin, walang duress, walang coercion, and you are not forced to perform the act. Ibig sabihin, voluntary. Pangalawa, voluntary siya. Pangalawa, the voluntariness of the act must violate a particular law. Whether the law is a criminal code, or an ordinance, or a special law. So long as it is a law. Pag nag-violate ka niyan, at the same time, yung action mo is voluntary or intentional. Ang tawag po doon, criminal behavior. Ano naman itong tinatawag natin deviant behavior? Napakasimple lang mga kadete. Sa deviant behavior, ang bina-violate natin is yung tinatawag nating norms, hindi batas. Okay? Sa criminal behavior, dapat batas yung crafted. Ordinance, criminal code, or probably special law. Yun po ang na-violate doon. Pero dito ang na-violate sa deviant behavior, norms lang. Ang norms tinatawag siyang standards of the society. Or this is also referred to as the unwritten laws. Bakit unwritten? Kasi hindi siya nakasaad sa batas. Hindi siya nakaukit sa batas po natin. May batas ba na nagsasabi that if you will not say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, you will be punished? Di ba wala? Walang batas po. Ang norms natin nagsasabi, honor thy father and thy mother. Ibig sabihin, we have to give respect to our parents. So sa pag nasa love relationship ka, tapos mas inuuna mo ngayon yung welfare ng girlfriend mo over the welfare of your parents, then basically, you are not violating the law kasi walang batas dyan. But you are violating the standards of the society. Kasi nga po, costumbre natin mga Pinoy, may tinatawag tayong close family ties. Part of the close family ties, andyan yung utang na loob, di ba mga kadete? So pag nanalo ka ngayon ng 20 million, walang batas na nagsasabi that the 10 million should be given to your parents. Pero alam mo, deep in your heart, that as proper mannerism dictates, alam mo that you need to give a portion of it to your parents even if they are not demanding for it. Kaya nga ako I have a very stable job. May stable job po ako. My parents are not demanding for any particular amount. But then again, kasi po, costumbre natin mga Pinoy, may utang na loob po tayo. Part of the norms po yan. So magbigay po ako ng pera sa parents ko even if they are not demanding for it. Kaya nga, if you are prioritizing other people, yung parents po natin, andyan na kasi yan. The moment we are born, until the moment na nakapagtrabaho tayo or we have a stable job, andyan po yung parents po natin from high and lows. Andyan po yan sa pitfalls and successes po natin. So basically, we have to give priorities to them over somebody else because girlfriends come and go. And I tell you, blood is thicker than water. So ganyan po. So ang norms po nagsasaad that these are regulations, mannerism that you have to portray in the public. Right? But again, non-portrayal of these manners or mannerisms do not violate the laws, but it only violate the norms. Okay? Now, ganito po. Criminal behaviors are basically deviant behaviors. Meaning, criminal behaviors can be deviant behaviors, but not all deviant behaviors can be criminal behaviors. Ano ba ibig sabihin dyan? Ibig sabihin, ang criminal behavior, violation siya sa batas, at the same time, violation siya sa norms. Right? For example, ang pagpatay ng isang tao, violation siya sa batas natin, violation din po siya sa norms. Pero ang deviant behavior, hindi siya magiging criminal behavior. Kasi nga, ang deviant behavior, nag-violate lang siya sa norms, pero hindi siya mag-violate sa batas. So yan po. That is why, ang criminal behavior can be considered as a deviant behavior, but deviant behavior cannot be considered as a criminal behavior. So yun po. Next source mga kadete, criminal psychology, psychiatry, at saka sociology. Now, sa mga reviewists dyan sa nagre-review right now, pag dalawang words po ang nakalagay sa board question, dapat i-define natin yan word for word. Diyan po makikita natin ang correct definition po sa phrase. For example, pag words are criminal, tsaka sociology, tapos nakadugtong yung dalawang words, ibig sabihin ng sociology, study of the society, right? Study of the society. Tsaka yung word, another word is criminal. That refers to crime. So pag binagdugtong ang dalawa, criminal sociology, ibig sabihin, relationship po siya ng crime at saka society. Okay? So sa definition po dito, relationship ng criminal at saka yung social structure or organization ng society. Okay? Criminal sociology. Dito po sa criminal sociology din po, makikita natin kung paano po ang isang behavior will be learned by a person, whether that behavior is criminal or non-criminal. Okay? Ang panglima po is criminal psychiatry. Sa psychiatry naman, it's more on mental and behavioral disorder. Okay? And mental and behavioral disorders are evaluated, prevented at the same time. Dito po mangyayari yung tinatawag natin cure or treatment of the criminal behavior. Okay? Treatment ng criminal behavior, cure ng criminal behavior, andito po sa criminal psychiatry. Criminal psychology naman, from the word psychology, study of the behavior. So, criminal psychology would refer to the relationship between crime and behavior. Okay? The behavior and the mental processes of the criminal. Pareho lang din po yan. Criminal psychology po ang term. Okay? Yun po ang anim na terms that we have to understand first in our study of the subject human behavior and victimology. Now, next would be determinants of behavior. Dalawa ang major determinants of behavior dito. Una, yung tinatawag nating heredity or biological factors. Ito yung nature. Pangalawa, itong environmental factors. Ito yung nurture. So, pag heredity or biological factors, ibig sabihin, ito po yung mga behaviors natin influenced by the genetic endowments from our parents. Ibig sabihin, pag ang magulang po natin is chismosa, of course, there might be a big possibility that as heredity would entail, there's a big possibility na maging chismosa ka din. Pag genius yung parents, maging possibility na maging genius ka din. Pag talented yung parents, there's a big possibility na maging talented ka. Kasi nga po, yung genetic endowments will be present the moment you are born. Okay? Are those that explained by heredity, the characteristics of a person acquired from birth, transferred from one generation to another. Ano naman itong environmental factors? Ito po yung mga behavior po natin na nakukuha po natin sa surrounding, sa paligid po natin. Refers to anything around the person that influences his actions. For example, pag nakatira ka ngayon sa isang lugar and that place is infested with gamblers, alcoholics, and drug addicts, there might be a big possibility that you will be influenced to become a gambler, to become a drug addict. At the same time, there's a big possibility that you will become an alcoholic. Kasi po, you will be influenced. Yung external influences po would refer to our environmental factors. Pero yung internal po natin would refer to heredity or biological factors, yung na-inherit po natin. Sunod po is pathogenic family structure. Mga kadete, hindi po ito nakalagay sa TOS. I'd like to tell everybody, I want to be honest hindi po ito nakalagay sa TOS, but I'd like to bring this up as a supplementary topic po sa subject po na human behavior and victimology. Discuss po natin ito. Who knows po, kahit hindi ito nakalagay po, as supplementary topics naman po, this may come out in the board examination. May possibility pa din po. Pathogenic family structure, 4 po ito mga kadete. Una, itong tinatawag nating inadequate family. Ano ba itong inadequate family? From the word inadequate, ibig sabihin may kulang. Ang kulang po dito, it could be the resources. For example, wala po tayong bahay, nakatira lang po tayo sa streets, wala po tayong tamang pagkain, wala tayong tamang nutrisyon. Kulang po sa physical, psychological demands para po sa satisfaction ng family, ang tawag po inadequate. May kulang, okay? Antisocial family naman, ito po yung type of family na may unacceptable values. And these unacceptable values po are usually portrayed by the parents, and these values could influence sa mga bata, influence the children to do the same. For example, pag ang ama is a gambler, tsaka yung ina is alcoholic, antisocial family po yan. Kasi this kind of vices could influence the children. Okay? Pangatlo, itong tinatawag nating discordant or disturbed family. Dito naman, it's not on inadequacy. This is not also an antisocial behavior of the parents, but rather it's more on non-satisfaction on one of the partners. It could be the husband or the wife. For example, walang sexual satisfaction or emotional satisfaction yung lalaki, yung husband, towards the wife. So, anong gagawin ng husband? The husband might covet with another woman outside marriage. Pag ang babae naman, hindi siya satisfied sa lalaki, probably she will be soliciting satisfaction from other person also. So yan po. And this may express feeling of frustration out of this relationship. So ang tawag po nito discordant or disturbed family, especially yung mga lalaki dyan na may maraming kabit, and this could actually create complexities or conflicts within the home. Ang tawag po sa family na yan is discordant or na-disturb po siya. Pangapat, yung pang-last po natin is disrupted. Ano ba itong disrupted? Disrupted kasi po may incompleteness, may nawala, right? May nawala po dito. It could be as a result of death, divorce, separation, or some other circumstances. Okay? So for example, pumunta yung husband sa abroad, di ba? Still a broken family kasi nga po kailanganin yung father figure sa bahay, yung physical father figure talaga. Or probably the husband passed away or nagka-divorce or naka-separated. Ang family po na yan is what we call as disrupted po siya. Okay? Sunod po is psychology of human adjustment. In our daily life po, we seek to satisfy different needs. Now, ang mga needs po na ito will not be satisfied, this could create tensions in the human body. For example, pag wala po tayong pagkain, di ba, naging animalistic po yung behavior po natin, di ba? So, look what happened to Tacloban when Tacloban was hit by the typhoon Yolanda. Di ba, pag walang pagkain, naging animalistic yung behavior. Kasi nga po, pag isang need is not satisfied, that could create tension to our body. Pero pag na-satisfy naman yan, the tensions will actually disappear. Mawawala po. So, ang adjustment po is considered to be the satisfaction of a need. Okay? Classifications of human behavior. Ganito po, tatlo po ito ha. Una, conscious human behavior. Ibig sabihin ng conscious, alam po natin. State of awareness, of thoughts, feelings, perception, and what is going on in our environment. Pangalawa, yung opposite ng conscious is unconscious. Ibig sabihin, hindi natin alam kung ano yung ginagawa natin. For example, if you are under the influence of somnambulism or semi-somnolence, alam nyo ba mga kadete yung somnambulism, yung half sleep, you are doing something where you are in the stage of sleeping. You are sleeping but then you are doing something unconsciously. So, unconscious behavior po yan. Yung hindi natin alam na mga behavior. Overt naman, yung pangalawa, ibig sabihin yung makikita sa public. Open to public observation. Opposite sa overt is covert, from the word cover. Ibig sabihin, unseen objects such as thoughts, feelings, or responses which are not easily seen. Yung pangtatlo is rational. Apat pala ito. Rational. Pertaining to reason, influence or guided by reason rather than emotion. Ibig sabihin, ng word na rational, ibig sabihin, you perform an act, you portray a behavior based on reason. For example, bakit ka nag-criminology? Kasi may mga rason ka. Hindi dire-diretso yung pagpili ng criminology. Di ba nakapag-rationalize ka? When you are a graduate of senior high school, di ba? Before you choose criminology, naglatag ka ngayon ng mga rason bakit ka mag-criminology. Kasi unang rason, magiging pogi ka pag naka-uniforme. Pangalawa, you will have a lot of respect coming from the community. Number 3, you will have a secured tenure of office. Or number 4, you will have a lucrative job. Or number 5, you will fulfill the ambition of your family. Yung mga ganyan, may rason ka. So you choose a certain action based on reasons. But if you will just do anything, stupid things without any reason at all, ang tawag po dyan, irrational, illogical po. Meaning walang rason, but you do it. Right? Walang rason. You do not calculate based on reason. For example, pag isang tao is buang, ang buang ba will have to rationalize? Hindi po sila nag-rationalize. They do not calculate. They just do it based on the abnormalities that they have. Ang tawag po doon is irrational behavior po. Right? Apat po pala yung classifications natin. Pang-apat is voluntary. Voluntary meaning intentional. Involuntary naman, ibig sabihin, you do it against your will. Meaning, hindi mo gusto, but then you do it. Alright? That's very understandable, mga kadete. Levels of behavior. 3 po. Vegetative. Pangalawa, animal. And pangatlo is rational or psi or human. Ano ba itong vegetative? Responsible for nurturing and reproduction, mostly found in plants, in human beings for food and reproduction. Ibig sabihin ng vegetative behavior, para at least maintindihan natin ha, baka vegetative, ang nasa isip natin is vegetables. Ang vegetative po, ibig sabihin, ito po yung mga bodily processes po. Mostly directed po ito with the maintenance of life. For example, yung nutritional status po natin, metabolism po natin, yung endocrine functions po natin, kasali na po dyan yung eating, yung sleeping, yung sa mga babae, yung menstruation, yung pagtatayo po natin, bowel function, bladder activity, sexual performance, blah, 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 blah. Vegetative po na level yan. Okay? Our blood pressure, yung mga internal function, behavior ng organs natin, vegetative function po yan. Kuha? The way we breathe is basically vegetative behavior. Pangalawang level naman ng behavior, mga kadete, itong tinatawag nating the animal. Dito po, makikita po ang senses po ng isang tao, yung impulses natin, yung sex drives po natin, yung instincts po natin nasa pangalawang level yan. Sa pangatlong level naman, itong pinaka-highest, itong rational psi or human. Diyan po yung moralidad natin, yung values po, or yung pagpili natin ng action based on reasons. Ang purpose natin, bakit nag-portray tayo ng isang behavior. Pati na yung freedom or voluntariness sa paggawa po ng isang bagay is basically part of the highest or third level. Now, kailan po magiging normal ang isang behavior? Napaka-easy. Pag ang behavior na yan is aligned with the standard or norms of the society, then that behavior is considered to be normal. Pag hindi naman siya naka-align, basically that behavior is considered to be abnormal. These are the characteristics of a normal person. Una, efficient perception of reality. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito? Ibig sabihin, alam mo kung ano yung realidad. Ano ba ang realidad? Makipag-usap ka sa tao, tao versus tao, or makipag-usap ka tao versus stone or trees. The reality will dictate na ang communication, especially verbal, should be done between one person to the other. Kasi pag nakipag-usap ka ngayon sa bato, will the stone respond to the communication? The answer is no. So therefore, you do not have the efficient perception of reality pag nakipag-usap ka sa non-living things. Okay? Pangalawa, self-knowledge. Ibig sabihin, alam mo yung sarili mo. Pangatlo, ability to exercise voluntary control over his behavior. Dapat, you have the power to control the behavior that you have. Pag hindi mo yan makokontrol, naging disorder na yan. Right? For example, pag naging kleptomaniac ka, Can you control it? The answer is no. So that behavior is not considered to be normal. Naging abnormal na. So, naging abnormal person ka na. Sunod, self-esteem, yung confidence po natin, yung trust po natin sa sarili natin, at saka yung tinatawag nating acceptance. Okay? Pag we encounter failure in life, do we accept the failure? Do we shake off the dust? Do we move on and do we move forward? Or we got depressed and we hang ourselves? Pag naging depressed ka, hindi ka nakapag-adjust, hindi mo na-accept yung failure mo, you might be keep on blaming yourself, then that's abnormality, kadete. Oh, ito productivity. To whom it may concern, pag lazy ka, abnormal ka. Di ba? Productivity ay nakalagay dito Dapat productive ka. If all day long, wala kang ginagawa, nag-Mobile Legend ka lang from the moment you wake up until you will sleep at night, Mobile Legend all the time. Nako, hindi yan productive, mga choy. Dapat you do something good. Especially when you wake up in the morning sa mga ano natin dyan sa mga young individuals. The very first thing that you will do is you pray before you jump out of bed, and then you read certain articles, and then after reading, you probably fold your beddings, and then magtrabaho ka, magigib ka ng tubig, tumulong ka sa magulang mo, because if you are not doing it, napaka-unproductive mo. Magiging productive ka for once and for all, mga kadete, Dapat productive tayo kasi criminology tayo Yan ang criminology thinking. Dapat tumutulong po tayo sa gawaing bahay. Right? Pero pag tamad ka, abnormal ka. Huwag ka maging tamad, choy. Next, ability to form affectionate relationship with others. So, dapat we know how to establish relationship. Makipagkaibigan ka. Pag social disorder ka, for example, you don't want to go out kasi you got shy in mingling with other people. Andyan ka lang, nagmukmuk ka ngayon sa kwarto mo for 365 days a year. Nako, abnormality yan. So, dapat you can have an affectionate relationship. Okay? Yun po, characteristics of normal person. Ito abnormal behavior. Ito po sabi ko kanina, pag hindi po siya aligned sa norms or standard po sa society, magiging abnormal po siya or maladaptive or maladjusted behavior. Ito yung mga indications, mga kadete, of an abnormal behavior. Deviation from statistical norms. Statistical, ibig sabihin numbers. Many population facts are measured such as height, weight, and intelligence, and some do not adhere to statistical norm. A person who is extremely intelligent would be classified as abnormal. I will not discuss more on this because this is very discriminating topic. Sunod, deviation from, I will not dwell so much on statistical norm as abnormality. Pero sabi dito statistical norm, pag nag-deviate ka, abnormality. Pero kahit yung pagkatao mo, let us say, you deviated from statistical norm, masyado kang mataas or masyado kang maliit, I don't think that's abnormality. But statistically speaking, based on the discussion, abnormality po siya. Alright? I'd like to dwell more on social norms, deviation from social norms. Behavior that deviates from the standard is considered to be abnormal behavior. But those standards can change with time and vary from one society to another. I'll concentrate first on the first sentence. Ibig sabihin dito again, pag nag-deviate ka, meaning you sway away. Lumabas ka kung ano yung normal, kung ano yung standard ng society, abnormality, yan. Okay? Deviation of social norms, yan. But those standards can change with time and vary from one society to the other. Tamang-tama po. Kasi iba-iba po kasi yung definition natin ng norms. Ang definition ng norms sa isang society might be different to the definition of norms in our society. For example, pag pumunta ako ngayon sa mga chartered cities, tapos nakasalubong ako ngayon during nighttime in cities, during nighttime. Pag nakasalubong ako ng elderly, I'll say good morning, good afternoon. But based on the observations po na makikita ko, every time I stroll around in the city during nighttime, bihira lang po ang mga tao who will greet elderly or yung mga matatanda. Not It's too rare. Napakabihira lang. Kasi po, iba kasi ang definition ng norms doon po sa chartered cities. Dito sa amin, dito sa Bukidnon, that's very controversial if you will not greet a person. If you will not say good morning, sabihin ng tao, wala kang modus, wala kang proper mannerism. If you will not say good evening, wala kang mannerism. And the moment you get inside the house, pag may elderly doon, kukuha ka ngayon, mag-bless ka. Yun po ang norms namin eh. But in chartered cities, hindi po nangyayari yan eh. Nawawala po. Sa bukid po namin, napaka-particular po. Pag maliligo ka sa ilog, or probably 2 kilometers from our house, may dagat doon. Pag maliligo ka sa dagat, you will not be wearing bikinis. You should be wearing short pants, t-shirt with you when you swim doon sa dagat. Yun po ang norms po natin. Kasi pag nakabikini ka ngayon, marami kasing snipers dyan. Pag nakabikini ka, somebody will tell you, hoy, magbihis ka. Dapat tama yung ano mo when you go swimming. Yun po, may mga matatanda that will actually tell you. So, iba po kasi. Pero pag pupunta ka ngayon ng Boracay, iba din po yung norms po doon. Sa amin, yan po ang norms. Sa kabila naman po, let's say, somebody will laugh at you if you will not go along with what is considered as norms in Boracay, as Boracay is concerned. So, dapat nakabikini ka doon, blah, 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 blah. So, again, ang norms po will vary. Nag-iiba po yan from one place to the other. Di ba sa Jamaica, normal sa kanila, they will puff or they will smoke marijuana. Normal sa kanila doon. It's aligned with the norms of the society. Pero sa Pilipinas, bawal po yan. Okay? So, iba-iba po. Pangalawa, ang norms po natin, our standard, will change from time to time. Di ba, noong araw, ang norms po natin, pag we have a crush on a particular girl, ano ang gagawin natin? Di ba, pupunta po tayo sa bahay ng babae, naghaharana po tayo. Di ba? Yun po, noong araw. Pero ngayon, ano na? Just one text message away. Kaya ngayon, premarital sex ngayon, ginagawang birthday gift, ginagawang monthsary gift, ginagawang anniversary gift. Nako, wala. Pero nung araw, you can only touch the woman sexually after marriage. Pero ngayon, nako, in just one text away. Andyan yung hotel dyan, 3 hours lang. Sa Cebu, di ba? 3 hours. Iba kasi yung norm. Nung araw, mga babae, yung suot nila from waistline up to the ankle of the feet. Yun po. Nakapalda yan ang taas-taas. But right now, nako, napaka-transparent na. Ay, nako. Deviation from social norm. Pero ngayon, sabihin natin, sir, yung very short pants, can it be considered as a deviation of a norms in this modern society? The answer is no. Kasi nga po, nag-adjust po tayo. Naging westernized na kasi. Yung western practices, naging norms na natin. Alright? Next, maladaptiveness of behavior. This third criterion is how the behavior affects the well-being of the individual and or social group. Examples, a person who will attempt suicide or a man who attempts suicide, an alcoholic who drinks so heavily that he or she cannot keep. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka nakapag-adjust. You face failures. Kaya po mga kaditi pag hindi po kayo nakapasa sa board examination, shake off the dust, stand up, shake off the dust, move on and move forward. As I usually tell you, we are criminology by blood and by bones and by flesh. Kasi criminology tayo, we are trained to become mountains. And mountains do not bow down to little whispers of the wind. Maging matatag po tayo, Pag we face failure in life, hindi po tayo pinagpala po sa board examination, okay lang yan. We move. Heads high po tayo. We strike again and we strike hard and we strike our best. Ganyan po, dapat. We have to adjust. Kasi pag hindi tayo nakapag-adjust, nako, yan ang resulta. Hindi tayo nakapag-adjust, naging abnormal behavior, nagsisuicide tayo. Pero sa legal definition of abnormality, declares a person insane when he or she is not able to judge between right and wrong. Yun po ang legal definition natin, Hindi natin alam kung ano yung ginagawa natin, mali ba or tama. We cannot calculate between pain and pleasure. Hindi natin alam yung ginagawa po natin. Yan po ang definition natin ng abnormality in a legal context. Okay? Description of human behavior. Human behavior is motivated. Motivation is considered as the driving force behind all action of an organism. This is very correct. Human behavior has multiple causes, influenced by culture, influenced by the surroundings, influenced by genetic endowments. Napakarami po. Next, every person is different yet the same. Totoo po ito. Every person, unique po ang pagkatao po natin. But again, the same in a sense that we have the same levels of behavior, we have the same basic needs. Individual is a unique person. Again, number 4, people play an integral part in creating their experience. Of course, that is very true. Number 5, human lives are continuous process of change. Because again, change is the only constant in this world. Talagang mag-iiba yan. From being matured to, from being immature to nagiging matured, from being not productive to being productive. Yan po. Sunod, human behavior can be adaptive and maladaptive. Humans are social beings. Any person depend upon each other for survival. No man is an island. We depend with each other for us to survive. People need interaction. Tamang-tama po. We have to interact. Kasi po, pag walang interaction, pag loner ka lang, that's basically abnormality. Okay? Ito, hindi din po ito kasali sa table of specification, mga kadete. Theoretical approaches about the factors that cause, maintain, alter behavior and mental process. But again, I have to put this through, mga kadete, as supplementary topics po kasi po, these are very, very important. And who knows, these supplementary topics will come out in the board examination. Mind you, people, sa mga reviews right now, hindi lahat ng mga questions sa board examination are basically aligned with the table of specification. I have to tell you that. So, study from the beginning up to the last. Okay? Next. Ito ha. Unang theory ha. Psychodynamic approach. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng psychodynamic approach? This is based on the belief that childhood experiences greatly influence the development of late personality traits and psychological problems. Ibig sabihin sa psychodynamic approach sa pag-explain ng behavior, kung ano yung na-encounter natin when we were still young, when we were still a child, may influensya po yan kung ano ngayon ang personalidad natin. Nung bata pa po tayo, pag corporal punishment po yung na-encounter natin, paglaki natin, unang epekto dyan, confidence. Magiging less po yung confidence po natin. Pero pangalawang epekto, which is very good, magiging disiplinado po tayo. Nung araw nga may different belts kami. Belt 1, 2, and 3 yan Una, yung the classical belt. Belt ng papa namin. Pangalawa is a broomstick. Pangatlo is yung guava branch. Yung mga belts po namin. If you will not come to the house at 6 o'clock in the evening, pag wala ka pa din doon, hindi ka nakapag-arrive, nako, pumili ka lang sa mga sticks na yan. But then again, it makes us a better person. And then, these experiences during childhood had an effect on our personality in our recent lives, okay? It also stresses the influence of unconscious fears, desires, and motivations on thoughts and behavior. Yung trauma po sa childhood, it will actually affect the personality of a person, okay? Psychodynamic approach po, yan. Pangalawa, humanistic approach emphasizes that each individual has great freedom in directing his or her future, a large capacity for personal growth, a considerable amount of intrinsic worth, an enormous potential for self-fulfillment. Humanistic, ibig sabihin po nito, yung kalayaan po natin sa pagpili kung ano po ba ang magiging future o yung ano po ba ang magiging kinabukasan po natin. So, in the humanistic approach, it does not follows on the pattern of this destiny. It does not believe on destiny, but rather it follows on the idea that you as a person, you have the freedom to craft your own future. That you have this capability to craft your personal growth or your personal development, that you have this capacity, you have this talent, you have that skills that you can actually use, you have the potential that you can actually use in order to craft a better future. Yan po, humanistic approach po yan. So, ibig sabihin, nasa sayo ang pagpili. You have the choice to become wealthy or to become poor. You have that choice to become somebody who is well-known or somebody who is just ordinary. Nasayo po ang lahat. Oh, parang kanta lang yan. Nasayo na ang lahat. Humanistic approach. Okay? Sunod. Behavioral approach studies how organisms learn new behavior or modify existing ones, depending on whether the events in their environment reward or punish this behavior. So, ganito po. Sa behavioral approach naman, ibig sabihin, may mga pagkakataon that we tend to know or to learn behaviors. May mga chances din po that we have to modify our behaviors. Ang modification ng behavior or learning the behavior will depend upon what we call as the reward punishment pattern. So, may mga behavior that we tend to adapt kasi po nakapagbigay ng reward. Ang reward na yan, it could be appreciation, recognition. May mga behavior din po na binabawal na natin, hindi na natin sinusunod, hindi na natin ginagawa kasi po we tend to experience pain over that behavior. For example, pag nagsuot ka ngayon ng magagandang t-shirt, tapos may magsasabi sa'yo, napakaganda, bagay-bagay sa'yo yung t-shirt. Diba? The next day around, you love to wear it again. Right? Kasi po, you have been recognized. Kasi may reward may nakukuha kang reward, so you will do it again. So, but if somebody will say, you look very ugly on that shirt, so the next day around, you will not wear it because you suffer discrimination or you suffer a negative comment from another person. So again, behavioral approach, may natutunan tayong bago, nagmo-modify tayo ng mga behaviors po natin. Right? Cognitive naman, ito po sa utak ito cognitive, examines how we process, store, and use information and how this information influences what we attend to, perceive, learn, remember, believe, and feel. May kasabihan nga, our thoughts will determine our words. Our words will determine our actions. Our actions will determine our destiny. Saan ba nagsimula ang destiny? Ang kinabukasan ng isang tao? Basically on the thoughts. How we process, how we store and we use information. Kasi po, for example, poverty. Sabihin na, poverty is the main hindrance to success. Sa akin po, that's not the way I think about it. Poverty should not be a hindrance to success, but rather poverty is a motivating factor for you to grab the success. It's not a hindrance, but rather a motivating factor. Ako, when I was still in college days, I had this 100 pesos per week allowance. Imagine 100 pesos. Way back 2004, I tell you. You can ask my parents about it. 100 pesos per week because we were poor during those times. Naging third year ako, naging 150 until I graduated. 150 pesos per week. But still, I financially managed myself to excel inside the class. Kasi po, depende kasi yan how you process this information. Mga information kasi, for example, somebody is talking in front and they were laughing. If you process the information that these persons are talking and gossiping about you, nako, you will be angry. But if you are processing the information that they are talking about somebody else like funny topics, then it will not have an effect on your part. Depende kasi, cognitive approach, how we process, we store, we use information, and how this information, the processing of this information, will influence on what we tend to perceive, learn, remember, believe, and how we feel. Okay? So, yun po. Again, pag pobre po tayo, sa mga self-study yan, andito na po yung Bitcoin, Kasangga nyo po, walang bayad po ang mga discussions po natin. Pag pobre po tayo, magiging motivating factor. I-perceive po natin na ang poverty is not a hindrance. You have the power to jump over it. You have the power to break that hindrance. You can use it as your advantage. Silver lining ang sabi nga eh. Depende yan sa inyo, how you process it. Alright? Pag nagbabasa ka ngayon, if you will process as if it's a painful process, reading and studying becomes a painful process based on your brain, what will be your feeling? Ang feeling mo is magiging exhaustive ka. Nagiging tired ka. Kasi po, iba yung proseso ng utak mo eh. Alright? So, it's about the mindset. Yun po, ang sabi nila. Sunod, biological approach. Ito, biological sa katawan po natin. Focuses on how genes, hormones, and nervous system interact with the environment to influence learning, personality, memory, motivation, emotions, at coping techniques. It's basically about our body. Pag katawan po natin, genes, genetic endowments, hormones, nervous system, as influential factors on how we behave in the society, biological approach po yan. Okay? So, yun po. Next, theories that explain motivations to human behavior. Ito, dito kasali, but I'd like to bring this up, a supplemental topic po. Punta tayo sa mga teorya na mag-explain sa motivation to human behavior. Una dito ang hierarchy of needs by Abraham Maslow. Okay? Ang needs according to Maslow are classified into una, biogenic, pangalawa, psychogenic or sociogenic needs. Sa biogenic, ibig sabihin yung katawan po, ito po yung pangangailangan ng katawan natin which exist for the maintenance of health and protection of the body against physical injuries. Ito po yung pagkain, air, water, rest, kasali na din ito yung sex, avoidance of pain. Biogenic needs po yan. Psychogenic needs naman or sociogenic needs, ito yung mga need for love and affection na nakukuha natin in our establishment of relationship with somebody. Security, it could be your tenure, financial security, yun po. Growth and advancement and recognition from another human being. Recognition yung pag-appreciate po natin sa ibang tao. Ito po mga kadete. If you do not have a positive opinion on something else, just keep the negative opinion to yourself. You do not have to publish it in Facebook. Do not publish negative opinion about somebody else. Because in the very first place, hindi mo alam kung ano yung anggulo sa buhay nila. You are not in the shoes of this person. Right? Never comment negatively on certain matters relative to the lives of a person. If you don't have any positive thing to say, keep the negative comments to yourself. Huwag kang magiging bungangera dyan sa social media. Choy. Importante, recognition eh. We have to recognize. Kahit hindi maganda yung tao, dapat sabihin na lang natin, ang ganda-ganda mo ngayon. Di ba? Napaka-cute mo ngayon. Di ba? Yung sandals na bago mong binili, napaka-bagay sa'yo. Yung eyelashes mo, talagang bagay sa'yo kahit nagmukha ka ng ano dyan. Okay. Pero you verbally see the recognition, the appreciation is something that actually provides a positive aura, positive environment. Yun po. Kailanganin yan as part of psychogenic or sociogenic needs. Alright? So dito, review lang po natin, may triangle yan, inverted triangle. It's a triangle of needs. Triangle of needs, tinatawag itong hierarchy of human needs. Sa hierarchy po, sa triangle, pag makikita, mag-search kayo sa Google, pinakamababa po dyan is as physiological. Physiological, ito po yung mga basic needs po natin. Yung air, di ba? Yung biogenic. For short, ito yung mga biogenic. Shelter, ito yung rest, sleep, blah, blah, blah. Sunod, sa upper sa physiological, itong tinatawag nating safety and security needs. Andyan yung the need for safety has both physical and psychological aspects. The person needs to feel safe both in physical environment and in relationship. For example, safe ka ba sa bagong partner mo? For example, financial safety, kasali din po yan. Okay? Your security of tenure, security sa employment mo, part yan sa safety and security needs. Alright? May bahay ka and then you think that this house, the structure of house is something that will provide you with physical safety. Part yan, safety and security needs. Pero ang bahay mismo is part of what we call as physiological needs. Pero ang safety dyan that you feel is part of safety and security needs. Sunod, sa taas naman, andyan yung love and belonging needs. The third level needs includes giving and receiving affection. O, yan po. Ito na yung sociogenic and psychological needs ng isang tao. Attaining place in group and maintaining the feeling of belonging. O, yung kasali ka sa grupo, na-recognize ka as being part thereof. When you receive an affection, you receive a recognition, you receive love, empathy from somebody. Part yan ng love and belonging needs. Pang-apat, yung pang-apat yung mataas sa love and belonging needs, itong self-esteem needs. Ito yung the individual needs both self-esteem, yung feeling of independence, na competent ka na, yung respeto sa sarili, and esteem from others, recognition, respect, and appreciation. Part din po yan, self-esteem needs pa din po. Alright? So, sa love and belonging needs, kasali din po yung recognition, kasali din po yung pagrespeto sa relationship ng isang tao. Pero ang love and belonging needs is more on the relationship. Right? Ang self-esteem needs, it's more on you, yourself lang. Pagkakuha ng kumpiyansa mo sa sarili, pagkuha ng respeto sa sarili, pagkuha ng recognition para sa sarili mo. It's self-esteem needs. Last would be, the highest is self-actualization. Ito po, bihira lang po ang mga tao na nakaangkat po sa self-actualization. When the need for self-esteem is satisfied, the individual strives for self-actualization. The innate need to develop one's maximum potential and realize one's abilities and qualities. For short, sa self-actualization, ibig sabihin, ito yung may potential ka, dine-develop mo pa. Right? You want to maximize your skills, maximize your talent. Ang tawag dyan is self-actualization. For example, pag marunong kang mag-drawing, so nag-ano ka ngayon, nagpipainting ka ngayon, nag-exhibit ka ngayon, you go to international exhibit displays, whatever you do, para at least ma-recognize ang iyong efforts. Basically, it's part of self-actualization. So, ano yan ha? Chronological order yan. Una, physiological, pangalawa, safety and security, pangatlo, love and belongingness, pangapat, self-esteem, at saka yung panglima is self-actualization. Hindi ka pwede mag-jump dyan, ha? Kasi pag nag-jumping ka, hindi mo nakuha yung una at the bottom, magka-problema tayo. Pag, for example, una, physiological needs Pag nasatisfied mo na yung physiological needs, dun ka muna sa safety and security. Huwag kang mag-jump dun sa love and belonging needs mo na, ha? In a very simple way of in a very simple way, pag nakuha mo na yung nasa bottom, doon ka na mag-proceed sa next. Kasi pag nakuha mo nga yung physiological needs, wala ka pang safety and security. Nako, pumunta ka ngayon sa love and belongingness. Estudyante ka pa lang. Pumunta ka ngayon sa premarital sex, tapos nabuntis yung partner mo, o dumiretso ka ngayon sa marriage. Ang tanong, may safety and security ka ba? Wala. So, ang problema dyan, yung premarital sex na yan, yung marriage na yan, napaka-premature, that will create complications financially. Right? Sunod, note, human needs cannot always be satisfied. That's very correct. Right? Ngayon, you will be asking for a bicycle. The next time around, you will be asking for motorcycle. Pagkasunod, ano na? Maghingi ka na ngayon ng car, four-wheeled car. O, pag ang cellphone mo is just ordinary cellphone, ano yung hingin mo? O iPhone. Na, walang limit. There's no limitation in as far as satisfaction is concerned. Yung impulses natin, hindi masatisfied talaga. Gusto mo magkatrabaho, you have an income of, let's say, 20,000. You will not be satisfied with 20,000. You will be longing for 30. You will be longing for 40. You will be longing for 50. You will be longing for 100. Nako, talagang human beings nga naman. Obstacles and difficulties sometimes stand in the way between the individual and his goal. Yes, that's very correct. These obstacles may lie in the individual himself. So, depende na po sa iyo if you will break the obstacle, jump over it, or probably do something in order to remove it. Depende po sa tao dyan. Sunod, psychoanalytic theory by Sigmund Freud. This also explains human behavior. Okay, ito, na-explain ko na ito sa Theories of Crime Causation. But I'd like to explain this again. Sa psychoanalytic theory by Sigmund Freud, nagsasabi po doon that the human behavior is motivated by inner force called the human mind. Crime is caused by, weak conscience or overbearing conscience. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng weak conscience? Weak meaning, may magsasabi pero kukonti lang. You cannot hear the conscience saying that what you are doing is bad. Ibig sabihin, yung strength ng conscience mo is napaka-weak. Overbearing conscience naman, nasobraan yung konsensya mo. Ang explanation ni Sigmund Freud nito is that pag overbearing or sobra yung conscience, you will feel guilty. Pag nagiging guilty ka, you will commit crime because you wanted yourself to be punished. Yun po ang logic, yung rason ni Sigmund Freud. But I will not believe on it. I will not believe on overbearing superego. But I do believe na ang weak conscience could result to criminality. Okay? Freud's theory describes a conflict between a person's instinctual needs for gratification. This theory proposes that conflicts among unconscious motivating factors affect behavior. Okay, himahimayin po natin ito ha. Sa psychoanalytic theory, andyan po yung elements of personality. Okay? Tatlo po. Ego, superego, and the id. Isa-isahin po natin para mas maintindihan pa po. Ang id po, ito yung mga instincts po natin. Yung wants, impulses. May impulses po natin. This usually starts from birth. Ang instinct or ang id does not care about moral, society, and other anyway. It does not care. It just asks you to do something. For example, ano yung impulse po natin? Makapagbili ng iPhone. Nasa ano na tayo ngayon? iPhone 14? Ay, nako. Impulse, yun po ang impulse natin. Or I want to eat something that is very delicious. O, instinct po yan. I want to buy a car. Mga instinct po yan. Right? Id po. Ang instinct, dalawa po yan. Yung instinct po natin, yung id, dalawa po yan. Una, constructive drives. Ang constructive drives are usually sexual in nature. Freud used the term sex in broader context. The sex includes those things that gives pleasure. Take note ha, ang sex po dito na tinutukoy po ni Sigmund Freud is not about pakikipagtalik. Kasi po, mga lecturers dyan, ang sabi nila, ang sex dyan is physical sex. Hindi po. Hindi lang physical sex. Anything that could please an individual. Yun po. Constructive drives. Instinctual drives naman, itong tinatawag nating destructive. Bakit siya destructive? Kasi ito yung mga impulses na negative, like aggression, destruction, and death. For example, again, yung example ko kanina, naglalaro ka ngayon ng basketball, you were accidentally hit by the elbow of your opponent. Tapos ang instinct mo magsasabi na you have to be angry. You have to punch the opponent. Nako, it's an instinct. That instinct, which is a negative instinct, is what we call as instinctual drive. Okay? Next, pangalawa ha, tapos na po tayo sa id. Pangalawa, ego. Ang ego, ito po ang element that relates to the world or reality to satisfy the demands of the id. Ibig sabihin, nagkokonsulta siya ngayon kung ano yung realidad. Kung ano yung dapat na gawin based on reality. Okay? So, pag magsasabi ngayon ang id na, I want to get a cellphone. Ano yung realidad sa paggawa ng cellphone? Di ba? Dapat mag-ipon ka. You have a money and you have to buy it. Kasi po, pag dinakaw mo, ang pagnakaw is not in accordance to reality. Right? It uses problem solving based on how it judges reality. It controls the demands and, most importantly, mediates between the id and the superego. Bakit nagiging mediator ang ego? Kasi po, there is usually a conflict between the instinct, the id, and the superego. Tingnan natin later on ano ang conflict na yan. Ang ego po begins in the first 6 or 8 months of life and fairly well developed at age 2 or 3. serves to control and guide actions of an individual. Okay? Ang superego naman, ito po yung tinatawag nating conscience. Okay? A residue of internalized values and moral training of early childhood. Ibig sabihin, ang moral standard po natin is regulated by the superego. Kung ano yung tama, ang magsasabi po sa atin na tama ito or mali ito is no other than the superego itself. Okay? It rewards the moral behavior and punishes actions that are not acceptable by creating guilt. Okay? So, anong ginagawa ng superego? Nagpapunish siya. Binigyan niya ngayon ng punishment ang actions na tinatawag niyang mali. Paano niya pinapunish ang mga actions na ito? Nag-create siya ngayon ng isang what we call as guilt. So, ang guilt is a punishment. Di ba? Pag gumagawa tayo ng masama sa kapwa natin, nagigilty tayo. To the moment that we cannot sleep, we will have anxiety. Okay? So, yung guilt na yan is a punishment of the wrongdoing that you committed. Okay? Yan po ang action ng superego. But most importantly, ito yung ang conscience, ang superego is our moral standard. It develops around the age of 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 and fairly well developed at the age of 10 years. Okay? So, ganito ha. Example. Sabi ng id, I want that laptop and I want it now. Yun po ang impulse. Sabi ng superego, you can't have it. It's not right. Oh, pag andyan ka ngayon sa loob ng classroom, nakakita ka ngayon ng laptop, walang ibang tao kundi ikaw lang. Sabi ng id, gusto ko yan. Apple yan eh. I want that laptop. Tapos sabi ng superego, wag mong nakawin. Bawal yan eh. That's not right. So, dito po, may conflict na ngayon ng id at saka yung superego. Pag may conflict ang id at saka superego, pumagit na po, mag-mediate ngayon itong tinatawag natin ego na element. So sabihin ng ego, okay, you want that laptop, and then the superego will say, that's not right. Okay, here's what we are going to do. This, we have to plan about it. O na po, we have to save money. Pag nakapag-save na po tayo ng money, nakaabot na ng 30,000, we are going to buy a laptop. Buying that laptop in our own money is satisfying the id at the same time satisfying the ego. Bakit na-satisfy niya? Bakit na-satisfy ng ego ang dalawang elements? Kasi po, na-satisfy niya ang id kasi nakakuha ka ng laptop eh. Na-satisfy niya ang superego kasi nga, ang pagkuha mo ng laptop is naaayon on moral standard. Okay? Kaya mediator po ang ego. Because most of the time, there is always conflict between id and the ego. Okay? So, types of personality conflicts or anxiety based on psychoanalytic theory. O na, itong tinatawag nating realistic anxiety. Realistic anxiety, this refers to the feeling of fear towards certain external object, situation, or action that the society generally regard as threat or dangerous to the concerned person. It is what a person feels when a criminal points the muzzle of his firearm towards him. Okay? Ito po yung tinatawag nating realistic. Realistic nga kasi nga ang action na ito based on the interpretation of the society, that action is considered to be negative. It's an action that is considered to be threatening. So pag somebody will pull a firearm and the muzzle of the firearm is pointed against you, nako, you will be suffering from realistic anxiety. That will tell you nga, I'm on a life-threatening situation. Right? Pangalawa, moral anxiety. This is a type of anxiety produced by the tensions between the ego and the superego. Dito, ang nagka-conflict, yung ego at saka yung superego. In certain times, the id provokes the ego to resort in unacceptable behavior, causing the superego to regulate the former. So, ibig sabihin, sasabihin ngayon ng id, ito ang problema. Pag malakas yung instinct natin, sabihin ngayon ng impulse, dapat kukunin mo yung laptop na yan. You have to get it. Tapos, ma-overshadow yung ego to the point na makakonvince po siya. Ibig sabihin, mas maliit yung boses ng ego compared to id, magka-problema ka. Ang tawag nito is moral anxiety. Okay? The id provokes the ego to resort in unacceptable behaviors, causing the superego to regulate the former. Nga sabihin niya ngayon na dapat dyan, ito ang gagawin mo, maling-mali yan. Magka-moral anxiety ka, magiging guilty ka. Pag magiging guilty ka, hindi ka na makatulog niyan. Right? di ba, yung iba nga, after they killed somebody, sabi ng instinct, you have to kill this person. So, na-overshadow yung ego. So, pinatay yung isang tao. Pagkatapos ng act, umuwi yung criminal sa bahay nila. Pagdating doon, nagka-moral anxiety kasi sabi ng superego, mali yun eh. Napakamali yung ginawa mo. Kasi sabi ng superego, maling-mali. Ano ang mangyayari? Kukuha ngayon ng firearm ang isang tao and he will shot himself. He will commit suicide. Why? Kasi nga nagka-moral anxiety na. Okay? Sunod, neurotic anxiety. This is produced by the conflict between the id and the ego. This is felt when the impulses of the id overwhelms the ego. Frustration, displacement, losing your temper, and drinking alcohol are few example of neurotic anxiety. Ano ang may conflict dito? Id at saka yung ego. Yung instinct at saka yung reality. Pareho sa moral anxiety. Pero dito sa neurotic anxiety, na-overwhelm yung ego to the point that you are going to do something, hindi siya considered as moral anxiety, something that is considered as psychologically abnormal in order for you to forget this kind of behavior that you portray. For example, pag failure ang board examination, ano ang gagawin ng isang tao? Probably frustration, displacement. Or number 2, magagalit ka, losing your temper, or mag-iinom ka. Ang tawag po dyan, neurotic anxiety po. Okay? So, yun po ang pagkakaiba sa tatlong conflicts. Alright? Or anxiety. Freud believed these three pieces of the mind are in constant conflict, as the primary goal is different for each piece. Sometimes, when the conflict is too much for a person to handle, his or her ego may engage in one or many defense mechanisms to protect the individual. Ano ang sabi dito? Ang ego, id, at saka superego, nakakonflict yan araw-araw in so many instances. To the point na pag sobra na yung conflict sa ego, superego, at saka sa id, ang tao po, ang ego niya will engage on what we call as defense mechanism. O ito po yung mga defense mechanism, kindly memorize nyo na po ha. O na, repression. Ano ba itong repression? Unconscious mechanism in which the ego pushes disturbing or threatening thoughts out of consciousness. Meaning, gusto niyang mawala sa pag-iisip niya. Ibig sabihin, ito yung forgetting. You want to forget, do some, talagang you really wanted to forget this heartache that you got, di ba? Yung ano mo, yung nobyo is nang bababa, you want to forget the pain. Forgetting is what we call as repression. On the other hand, denial. Denial is simply denial. You want to, the ego blocks upsetting or overwhelming experiences from awareness. So, you tend to believe, you refuse to acknowledge rather, or believe what is happening. Ibig sabihin, you tend to say na okay lang kami, but in reality, hindi. Right? Okay lang kayo. You tend to portray in the public that you are happy, but in reality, you are sad and you are in pain. Kaya careful tayo mga kadete ha. Yung mga kaibigan po natin na panay smile. Yung mga kaibigan natin na panay tawa, tumatawa lang sila. But in reality, be careful. They are suffering. They might be battling a certain emotional warfare that they are, to the point that they are about to surrender. Tumatawa sila ngayon. The moment after, they commit suicide. Diba? Denial. Right? Sunod, projection. Ito, projection. Blaming. Basically, blaming is what we call as projection. Let us say you blame all Muslims for terrorism, and then you blame murder to all gun owners. May nakalagay nga dito is blaming all musicians to Kanye West. Nako, ay. Di ba? Pag nakikita kayo ng naka-hijab, Muslim guy, you always think about terrorism. So, projection yan. Or you blame your failure to another person. Right? Sunod, displacement. Ito, another defense mechanism. Dito ang displacement, from the word displace, may anger ka, may impulse ka. and you want it to be displaced to another person in unacceptable way. Ibig sabihin, hindi normal yung pag-displace mo. For example, pinagalitan kayo ng boss, pagdating sa bahay, pinagalitan mo din yung kapatid mo. That's what we call as displacement. Right? Sunod. Regression. Ano naman ito regression? Ibig sabihin, defense mechanism which the individual moves backward. Nag-retroactive yung maturity mo. For example, overwhelmed adult acting like a child. Nagtatamsaking ka. You tend to express childish behaviors. Ang tawag po dyan, regression. Next would be sublimation. Ang sublimation naman, similar po siya ng displacement. Sa displacement, dinidisplace mo yung anger in a very unacceptable manner. Pero dito, you displace your anger or your frustration in a positive manner. For example, you are experiencing probably heartache. In order to displace your heartache, you write a painting. You write a song about it. For example, Taylor Swift wrote a song, ano ba yun? Love Story. He wrote based on the she wrote based on the frustrations that she experienced in life. So yun po, sublimation. Another example, pinagalitan ka ng boss. Pag-uwi mo, in order to displace your frustration, nagpipaint ka ngayon. Or kumakanta ka. That's basically sublimation. Pero dapat positive yung pag-displace mo, ha? Sunod, rationalization. Sa rationalization naman, a defense mechanism where the ego excuses inappropriate behavior through a gesture, often an explanation that is more acceptable than the real and unconscious motive. For dito, sa rationalization, for example, you failed in the board examination, you might say, okay lang yun kasi I did not study well. You rationalize. Right? You tend to get rid of the negative thought by rationalizing. Right? Or, bakit ka pinagalitan sa boss? Because probably I did not work hard, I did not work in accordance to the schedule. Yung ganyan, rationalization po yan. Next, introjection. An ego defense mechanism where the individual imitates the characteristics of another to gain acceptance. Kinokopya mo. In order for you to feel belonging, or in order for you to feel belonged to a particular fraternity group, kasi ang culture ng fraternity group, dapat t-shirt mo yellow, dapat short mo yellow, sandals mo yellow, pati brief mo yellow, o bumibili ka ngayon, lahat yellow. Kahit hindi mo gusto. Introjection po ang tawag dyan. Alright? Next, second to the last, isolation or intellectualization. This refers to the ego defense mechanism which eliminates the feeling or emotion associated with threatening event, object, or person. The strategy is to become emotionless to pursue normal psychological function. Meaning, you tend to become numb. For example, yung tao, pinagalitan ka, okay lang. You just tend to be insensitive. Emotionless, insensitive, tawag po dyan, isolation or intellectualization. Last, reaction formation. This is often called believing the opposite. A primitive version of sublimation, this ego defense mechanism changes the anxiety-provoking or unacceptable impulses into acceptable ones. However, unlike sublimation, reaction formation reverses the individual's conscious experience, making him aware of the opposite feeling. Sa sublimation kasi, di ba sabi ko kanina, dinidisplace mo yung frustration mo or your anger mo into a positive manner. Nagvi-video ka, nagpi-painting ka, kumakanta ka, sublimation yon. Pero dito, reaction formation, wala kang ginagawa. You just interpreted a certain negative situation into a positive one. For example, pobre ka, di ba? Ang reaction formation, magsasabi sa'yo, I have to excel well because I am poor. I have to make poverty as a motivating factor. Pinagalitan ka ng boss, sabihin mo ngayon, okay lang yun, I deserve it. So I have to do better. Ang tawag po dyan is reaction formation. So yun po ang mga ego defense mechanisms. Alright? Sunod. Part po ng psychoanalysis, itong fixation. Okay? This is still under Sigmund Freud's theory, mga kadete, ha? Bilis-bilisan po natin ng konti. Sa fixation refers to either inadequate or excessive pleasure or to the conflict during the stages of psychosexual development in which the target of the sexual energy remains attached to an object associated with lower level of maturity. It is the state of being confined or being stuck in a certain stage. Again, una ha, nagiging inadequate, kulang or sobra-sobra yung kaligayahan na nakukuha mo on a certain stage of psychosexual development, na sobra or kulang. Pag sobra or kulang, ang tawag dyan fixation. Ibig sabihin, pag kulang or sobra yung pleasure mo, posibleng magiging stuck ka dyan. Nagiging stuck ka in that particular stage. Okay? So reasons again, pwedeng excessive, pwedeng inadequate fulfillment of the development needs. Alright? So, pag inadequate, it could cause frustration. Pero pag excessive naman, it could cause indulgence. Ano ibig sabihin ng indulgence? Ibig sabihin, ina-advocate mo, ginagawa mo kahit hindi na kailangan. Alright? Sige, na po. 0 to 18 months, tawag dito sa stage is oral. Right? So, sa oral po, ang gratification po dito is using the mouth. Ito pong pagkain, yung breastfeeding, or milking, or giving milk to the baby, yan po, 0 to 18 months po yan. Feeling and activities are focused on and expressed by the mouth and are orally dominated. Winning a child can lead to fixation if not handled correctly. Winning po sa Bisaya po is paglutas. I don't know kung ano po ba ang Tagalog term po dyan. Pero sa Bisaya po, tinatawag po natin paglutas. Ilutas ang bata. Ibig sabihin, that's the stage wherein the baby will no longer be under breastfeeding period. Ibig sabihin, hindi na siya mag-breastfeed. Dapat magsasarili na siya. He will be subjected to formula milk. Pakainin na siya ng hard food. Yung mga ganyan. Fixation can lead to oral activities in adulthood. So sabi po dito, pag sobra-sobra po ang pagbigay po o pagbigay ng pleasure sobra-sobra po ang pagbigay ng pleasure. Pinapakain kahit hindi gutom, binibreastfeed kahit hindi gutom. There's a big possibility na pag ang bata po, lumaki po siya magiging obese po. Kasi po, he will indulge on eating. He loves to eat all the time. Kasi nasobraan eh. Pag kulang naman, magiging malnourished yung bata. Hindi pala kain. Right? Next. Sunod, 18 to 3 years, ang pangalan dito sa stage is anal stage. Begins with attainment of neuromuscular control of the anal sphincter. Ibig sabihin, how they defecate. How a child will poop. Toilet training is the crucial issue for the toddler. Fixation can lead to anal retentive or expulsive behavior in adulthood. Bakit po anal retentive or nagiging expulsive behavior during adulthood? Kasi po, yung bata, parang kinokontrol yung bowel movement niya. Right? Gusto ng bata na mag-poop, pero parang kinokontrol. Wag muna. Doon ka mag-poop sa labas. Parang ganyan. So, basically, controlling the bowel movement could result to fixation during adulthood. Right? Sa anal stage din po, pag ang bata po is excessively given na pleasure, kahit hindi siya nadudumihan o kunting dumila, kini-clean up mo, or probably kahit kunting dumila, you tend to again change the clothing of the person. There may be a big possibility that during adulthood magiging maarte yung bata. Okay, dapat kasi tamang-tama lang, average lang po. Sunod, phallic stage is 3 to 6 years. Sexual attraction to the parent of opposite sex will occur. Tapos dito, may tinatawag tayong Oedipus, castration, at saka Electra complex. Sa Oedipus complex po, yung boy may feeling of jealousy towards their father. Lalaki nagsisilos ka sa papa mo or sa ama mo. Okay? Tapos may desire ka sa mother. Right? Electra complex, pag opposite naman, ibig sabihin, ang babae will have an affection and love towards their father, their dad or their papa. However, unlike boys, Freud argued that girls are unable to experience castration anxiety. Ano ba itong castration anxiety? A term used to describe the boys' feeling of fear towards their father. Bakit po medyo may feeling of fear ang lalaki sa kanilang ama? Because the boy assumed that his father will take revenge and punish him by castrating him. Meaning he will be punished. So, may kaba yung bata, yung lalaki ha. Pero ang babae, according to Electra Complex, wala sila. They will not suffer castration anxiety. Ang castration anxiety lang is from the boy to their father. Right? So again, Oedipus Complex, sexual feeling towards the mother. Jealousy towards the father. Electra Complex, on the other hand, is a daughter having sexual feeling or desire towards the father. But again, in Electra Complex, the girl will not develop castration anxiety. Alright? Next is latent or latency stage, 6 to 12. And child will realize that desires directed to the parent of opposite sex are not visible. Ibig sabihin, that cannot be realized. So, ano ang gagawin ng bata? Ang bata will become occupied with socializing with peers, refining goals, and relationship. Ito na po ang period na makipagbarkada yung bata. Alright? So, yung sexuality is na-repress siya, nakokontrol siya, na latent means hidden. Children participate in hobbies, schools, and same-sex friendship that strengthen their sexual identity. Latency po yan. Sunod, ang pinakalas, itong tinatawag nating genital. 12 to 20 years, adult sexuality. Ito na yung develops awareness of body or sexual part. Insensuous sexual feeling re-emerge but being prohibited by the superego. Ibig sabihin dito, mag-emerge uli yung feeling towards the opposite sex. Yung, for example, yung boy, sexual desire towards the mother. Pero, sabihin niya ngayon na bawal yan. Kasi hindi yan pwede. Hindi yan tama. Kasi may superego na eh. May superego na nagsasabi na mali ito at tama po ito. Alright? So, mawawala din po yan. And then, healthy adults find pleasure in love and work. Fixated adults have their energy tied up in earlier stages. So, dito po ha, pag fixated po tayo, magiging tied up po tayo sa early stages ha. So, may indulge pa din po yung behavior on the early stages. Pero pag average na, saktong-sakto, then magiging matured po yung individual. He can distinguish na ang pagiging having sexual desire with the mother is actually bad. Kasi nga, na-develop na po yung superego. At the same time, ang bata po in this stage will direct his sexual desire to other persona of opposite sex. Right? So, dito na yung magnonobyo, yung babae at saka yung lalaki will have girlfriends. Alright? So, yan po ang sexual development according to Sigmund Freud. I'd like to stop muna mga kadete ha in this topic. Kasi po, ilagay po natin yung iba in the other episode para hindi po tayo maboboard, right? Too much of something is bad, right? So we'll put the next topic on the next episode. Maraming salamat po mga kadete for patronizing the Bitcoin. Good luck po sa takers sa board examination and God bless po sa lahat. Sa lahat ng first year and first year to fourth year na mga cadets, sipag lang po sa pag-review. Maraming salamat and God bless everyone.